Right, welcome. It's the New Way Growth Team, myself, Luke, discussing Google search advertising. Now, for me, Google Ads, the Google search, is the greatest direct response marketing machine you can have. Just purely for the traffic that goes onto Google, and that's what you're trying to capture, that traffic. And again, with Google Ads, it's fast, scalable, measurable, and it operates at that bottom of the funnel side because you're really targeting those keywords and where people are really looking to purchase. So you can really attack the bottom of the funnel. Don't know what your thoughts are on that, Luke.
Yeah, definitely. I think with regards to the funnel, it's mainly focused around targeting those people who are in the market and like we touched on before we came on, really ready to buy or that are in the market to research to buy. So it's important that you can advertise here and get your business and your products and services in their mind when they're making that decision. There is other ways to use Google Ads to actually target the top of the funnel in terms of raising awareness as well. And there are certain strategies which you can do to focus on solely being aware, making people aware, sorry, and targeting impressions and appearing at the top of the results solely for awareness. So there's lots of different strategies you can focus on. But yeah, it's definitely today we're really going to focus on the goal of making people ready to buy and getting them onto your websites to do exactly that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that brings me on to where we were just discussing around is it's knowing that one goal. What is the objective you want to do within the Google search?
Yeah.
What revenue is it looking at? What goals is it looking at? What objective? And being very, very succinct on round what you want from it is a key critical point as well.
Definitely.
So we were going on to what was the next
We've
section?
got plenty of stuff to talk about. Plenty of stuff. We've got what exactly are search ads, and for people that maybe don't know exactly what they are, we might as well just do a brief overview to start off with. So, because it's referred to as lots of different things. You've got Google search adverts, you've got search engine marketing, you've got paid search marketing, you've got pay per click marketing. All these words and phrases, which all ultimately mean the same thing, and that is Google search ads. And what this is a sponsored result which appears at the top of any Google search listing when somebody searches for a certain keyword or phrase. And this form of advertising obviously places your business at the top of the search query results, which is where the awareness comes from and getting eyes on your business, and makes you visible at the exact moment that potential customers are searching for your products and services. Because with the keywords, how it works is you will select keywords that are most relevant to your business and your product and service. When these keywords are triggered, this is when your advert is shown. Depend on multiple factors, but that's our job to make sure you're shown at that point. If somebody searches for anything outside of your keywords, then your advert won't appear and you won't be charged for advertising on Google. So it's really, really efficient way of advertising when somebody's in the market, like we said at the start, for your product and service. And that's something you can definitely do with Google Search Ads.
Yeah, absolutely. And it will. I mean, we're going to come on to some of the keywords, sort of like researching, but it is really about being really relevant with those keywords, referenced into what you're actually trying to advertise out there, and really
Yeah.
understanding that relevancy as well. So yeah, excellent. I
In
forgot what
regards
we.
to the process, suppose it moves straightly onto that, doesn't it? The process of an ad. What the consumer sees is what we've just talked about. They only ever see the process of typing something in onto Google, seeing the search results, and then seeing the adverts and making a choice on which website link to click. Obviously, we want your website to be the one that they do choose to click on, and that to be at the top of the website results on Google. With regards to the actual process of an ad, you have the customer query on Google. There's then an auction. So there's lots of advertisers that are advertising their products and services for similar keywords. It's very rare that you'll only be the only person advertising for one or two keywords. So then it's about differentiating your adverts and making sure that they're the better quality adverts for Google to show. So there's an auction and you bid on this keyword. As advertisers, we set the bid for that, or if you're doing it for yourself, you will set the maximum that you want to bid for this keyword.
And I think that,
And
can I drop in there? I
yeah,
think that's one of the
yeah,
key things really to understand as well is that how much okay, you may have a target bid on there thinking, yeah, I'd love it to be at that, so that's what it is. That you've got your target, but then you also, as Luke said there, what is the maximum really you want to go to, because you want to be making money very minimum, probably breaking even. So you really need to understand how much it does cost to get your customer in here
Yeah.
from the ad. So, and don't go above it, otherwise you could go spending quite a lot of money straight off. So really getting your head around what your ideal cost would be, and don't generally go above that.
Yeah, and having that in mind before you even start any of this is easy because, like I said, we'll touch on it again later how we choose the keywords. But having that figure in mind is really really important. And this bid isn't the only factor that contributes to where you rank in Google. So a lot of misconceptions are, well, if I'm competing with a lot of different businesses and I'm bidding the least or the mid range, I'm not going to be appearing at the top. And this isn't correct at all. Actually, what happens is your ad rank is determined by your bid. So it has to be within a certain range, but it doesn't have to be the most expensive bid on the market. And that is then multiplied by a quality score by Google, which is made up of three key components, really. How relevant your advert is, the expected click-through rate of your advert, and then the experience on your website. Now, we're seeing more and more now with Google that they're actually focusing on user website experience. They've always done that with the algorithm, but now they're really focusing on that. So those three factors together all have to be achieving highly, multiplied by that bid to achieve a high search ranking. So just to re-clarify that, it's not the most expensive bid that wins. It's actually the best overall package, because ultimately what Google's goal is with adverts and organic search results is to show a website to a customer that is most relevant to them. Because in the long term, if Google keeps doing that, people keep coming back onto Google and they repeat the cycle, and they're consistently using Google because they find it the best way to find what they're looking for. And that's ultimately Google's goal. Of course, they make money out of the adverts, but that is the main goal.
And Facebook used to, and I think it's changed recently, used to have a relevancy score. So it might still be there.
Yeah.
And I think that relevancy score, you used to want it about 4 and above.
Yeah.
Because that, again, it's what they're after. They're after engagement, they're after the feed, and after to really, the customer experience, as you say. And that's what we want. So you've really got to be on top of that relevancy score, that quality of your content and creative.
And the quality score of Google works in a similar way. It's out of 10. Your keywords that you pick and your adverts combined will be scored out of 10. And each of those three factors that I touched on, relevance, click-through rate, and landing page experience, they're all graded from below average, average, and above average. So the three layers of those. So it's all about getting those as high as possible, contributing to the quality score, like we've just said. And then from there, once your advert appears on Google, it's then about constructing the advert in a way which really draws the clicks, draws the people that you're looking for to fill in with the information. Once they've made that click, they then go to the landing page that we've set to send them to a specific page. They don't just go to your website homepage if you don't want them to. We send them to a specific URL that you, as the customer or as a business, want to do. And then it goes through to how good the website is and the information there, and then can we complete the sale? It's the click itself and the scene of the advert that, again, a lot of people think, oh, well, I want everybody to click on my adverts. That's not actually the case. You want people to view the advert and make a decision. One example for a couple of clients that I've got, their pricing is different to their competitors because they're high quality. So getting this pricing across in the first place is actually really important, because if everybody who's in the market for their services clicked on their advert, maybe 75% of them are looking for the cheapest option in the market. So once they click on that advert, you're charged for a click. And ultimately, that's wasted ad budget. Whereas if you can get your pricing involved in your advert, yes, people will still see this advert, but they might not click it. And that's absolutely fine, because you only get the clicks for people that are willing to pay that price for your service. So again, it's about having a discussion with people at the start. What's the goal? What customers are we looking for? And then how can we make the advert in the best possible layout to attract those customers?
And again, for me on this one is as we've been talking relevancy, it's the relevancy of the keyword. So thinking around what you're putting out into that Google advert, in knowing full well you want to filter off, because you are at that higher cost association, you're filtering other people out. So again, it's around the relevancy of the keywords and the keywords you put into it to filter, to optimize your ad as well.
I think probably a good time to actually talk about the keywords here, Adam, actually, because it's flowed quite nicely into that.
Yeah.
Obviously, keywords, like we said at the start, are the phrases that people will search for on Google to find your website or your adverts, in this case with Google Search Marketing. For example, again, I always use this example in our lives, but a hairdresser in Nottingham, for example, that might be something that somebody's searching for. So their keyword there would be hairdressers Nottingham or barbers Nottingham. If we're excuse me, if we're then talking about relevance, like Adam just said, if that barber only focuses on students, then the keyword would be students barbers Nottingham, because they only want to appear for students. They don't want to appear for men over the age of 50 or 40 or whatever it is, to get them clicking to their website, because that's not their target audience. So whilst people might think, oh, I'll just put barbers in because that's going to generate clicks, it's not about that. It's about finding the most relevant keywords to your business that are going to drive the best traffic to your website and then generate the most results. And that's what we do.
Which comes back to that, yeah, as we started, is that what is your objective? So if you've got this offer and this offer is around, oh, let's say I've got 10% off a student cuts at the minute, so we really want to focus in on the student. So it's all very, very linked together. So you can't skip any of it. You need to really get to the into the detail of it. Now, the thing for me around this keyword side is, and I was we were saying we were going to do this live, is I went around how to find these keywords, and I was thinking, like, brainstorming, thinking laterally, how would I search for the product that or the offer that you're trying to get out there in your ad? What would you put in so you can get those keywords into it from that point of view? Then also talking to other people, customers and clients and friends and things like that around what they would say. And then we've got the Google Keyword Planner, but I know you're going to come on to this, so I'll hand it over to you now.
Obviously, the best way for any business is market research, first of all. It's what customers are after, and you will know that from previous clients. You can ask them how they found you and what they were looking for at the time. But then coming on to the technical side of it and using Google and the Keyword Planner tool, something we do, is here we can sort of gain some keyword ideas once we've had the discussion about your goals in the business and what you're trying to do, and get some initial predictions in terms of the data behind those keywords. So this can range from average number of monthly impressions, easy for me to say. So this could be, for certain keywords, might only be 10 to 100 searches per month in whatever areas you are trying to target, but they might be the 10 to 100 customers that your business needs to attract. So whilst it might not be the volume that you might have been expecting, if you can convert those customers, then that keyword is worth having. Alternatively, if you're looking to get an awareness and you've got a large budget and you want to play the numbers game in terms of, let's reach as many people as possible, we're confident in our product and service and we want to get in front of these people and we know that we're better than our competitors, then going for larger search volumes of keywords to 1,000 to 10,000 per month, for example, might be more effective for your business. Alongside the sort of monthly click predictions, if you like, average number of monthly searches, you then got the bid ranges. Now, you don't go into this completely blind. And a lot of the time, Google will have data for your keywords in your locations to tell you the sort of ranges that you need to be bidding within to appear. So like we said at the start, the bid's not the most important thing in terms of being the most expensive bid in the market, but there is a range you have to bid to appear. And then using the lower end, we normally tend to sort of start around the lower end up to around 50% of the range, and test the market out, see how highly we're ranking, see how many searches we're appearing in, and see what the results are like. And then make the decision, do we then want to go up to the higher end if we're miles off our competitors in terms of rankings, and judging that. But you will see in the initial stages what these ranges are. And it's important to note here that there will always be predicted data given to a client, whether that's with us. I'm not too sure what other people do, but you will always know before you even agree what sort of predicted data you can get in terms of clicks and costs. Okay, because a lot of the time, PPC can work great for businesses, but there is some occasions whereby it's not cost effective, and you have to be transparent with the client at that point, because ultimately, as a business, if it's too expensive, if your service is £20, let's say, but the cost per click is £5, you are really, really, really cutting it fine there in terms of, right, we need to convert pretty much every single customer who clicked it, the advert, to make money. And that's ultimately not going to be a cost-effective strategy. However, if your product and service, potentially is £100, £150 per time, and the cost per click is 25 to 50 pence, for example, that could be great value, because you're going to get 300-400 clicks, and then you only need one conversion to break even. So it's really about finding out the keywords that work well for you. And like I said, you'll have that full transparency whenever you start. And that's the good thing about using the planning tools, as we said.
Yeah, so absolutely brainstorm the key words because they really have to be relevant to what the objective and what you're trying to do and what you're trying
Yeah.
to achieve on that. Now I know we skipped one there. Do we need to go back on that? I don't think we have.
Yeah,
Was
it's
it
just basically about where
where they
adverts will
appear?
appear.
Yeah,
Yeah, and sort of the location as well behind that. So the first part is where they appear. Obviously, typically at the start of Google search results is that advertising space, and that's where you want to be within those top 3 or 4 because you want to appear right at the top. Alternatively, adverts can appear at the bottom of the first page as well, which people sometimes don't realize. So when you're scrolling down on Google results, there is actually ad space at the bottom. Now, obviously, these aren't the ones that you want to be targeting. You want to make your adverts as good as possible to get to the top, but there is space there. And on a few pages after Google. But our role and our job is to get you on that initial first 3 or 4 results. As well as this, people don't actually realize that you can actually advertise on Google Maps as well. So if there's a small business looking here thinking, I don't need to advertise across the United Kingdom or across a certain number of counties or across a massive city, I'm only focused on my town. Well, actually, what you can do is you can link your Google My Business profile to Google search ads and then have them running simultaneously. So you'll have a Google search ad running, but you'll also have an advert on Google Maps that allows you to advertise in number 1 or 2 on Google Maps positions. Now, for a small business like a hairdresser's, for example, if their competitors aren't doing that, the ability for you to come up first and second with a Google Maps advert as it is, but it's classed under Google search, could be really, really important and could actually generate some positive results for you. Of course, your Google My Business profile, which we've banged on about hundreds of times on this live.
we'll bang on about it again. You must
Yeah,
get that Google My Business.
that's got to be important, and that's got to be sorted out, and that's got to be optimized. But if you then have a good profile, which maybe isn't appearing as highly as you'd like it to, and link it with Google Ads, that could be a really, really good local marketing tool. So that's the sort of positions and placements that they do advertise on.
Yeah, I mean that for me is bloody powerful. There's no two ways about it. Is if you are a small business and yes, you've got Google My Business, but you're not getting up there, link that with the Maps advertising. That is powerful in a local area. Powerful. That is.
Yeah, yeah. And then with regards to the location, that Adam as well. Again, the misconception is Google Ads is just going to be on the whole of Google, and everyone's going to be seeing it if they search that keyword in. That's not the case. If you are a business that focuses in a certain geographical area, is it in a town or is it in a certain city, or is there a sort of radius that you travel out to? So it might be, for example, in Coventry or Birmingham, and you travel plus 20 miles. We can make sure that those adverts only appear to people in those locations. So, your target customers, like I said, might be in that radius. And if they're, half a mile outside that radius, they never see your adverts because we know they're not the people that you want to be going to target. So there's lots of different locations. You can do it to anywhere in the world as well. Pretty much all countries in the world are on Google Ads. Some have certain restrictions, but majority don't because of Google's advertising standards that are good anyway. So you can advertise abroad, but also in the UK, you might want to just target certain cities, or you might have a base in Birmingham and a base in Manchester, and therefore you want to target those 2 locations. That's something that you can do. So being location specific is actually really, really important, and we can definitely set that up.
Yeah, the only thing that sprung into my mind there was it was around with the adverts as well. You want to be making sure that you're measuring and tracking everything, so you understand the behaviour and what's happening. So if people are clicking through but are not taking an action or the action you want them to take on the landing page or wherever you're sending them, then look at the landing page because that's the bottleneck. Because if your click through rate's up, great. If your click through rate isn't there, then there might be something wrong with your targeting and your keyword and getting the relevancy. So remember, this is always about testing, and once it's tested and once it's working, which is coming back to what we were saying, you can scale it. And scaling it, doesn't necessarily you mean scaling. You can up the budget, or you might want to try some new targeting in different areas. So
and also this is slightly a bit more advanced in terms of the funnel, but if you think about the way Google works, obviously it's people that are in the market for your product or service or your business. So if they've clicked on your advert, that they've searched for what you provide, and they've then took an interest in what you've said. If that is something which isn't enough for them to convert. So they might take a couple of times of seeing your website. For example, if you've got a product or service which is quite a high cost, it requires a lot of initial investment from a potential client in terms of research or in terms of cost, you might want to then couple that with retargeting. So if you've got a certain page on your website that you're sending people to from Google search ads, like we said we can do at the start, and really the only way people will ever reach that page is by sending them there by a search advert, you can then attach a retargeting advert across Google's display network when they're browsing Google on other websites or across social media and re-engage these people, because you know that anybody who's viewed that page through your advert is interested in your product and service because they've seen your advert, they've clicked it initially. So there's that initial sort of intrigue there, or an interest in what you're selling, and maybe even they're ready to go and ready to buy, and it might be that re-engaging of them that converts them. Again, that could be anything from come and contact us today, send them to a form, give us a call, anything along those lines, or even to a page where they can buy the product. But down that funnel, again, it is about understanding how your customers work and what strategies you can sort of link with Google search ads sometimes to also achieve results.
Yeah, absolutely. And that, again, that, that retargeting, you've shifted a person that may have been in awareness and engaged and subscribe stage, you've shifted them down that funnel, and that retargeting, you're hitting them whilst they're warm. So they're more than likely going to take an action at that second attempt as well. So the return on investment is potentially far greater. Yeah, so we're going on to successes and then opportunities, and some of the opportunities that you've found, and in particular sectors, but some of the successes and opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, it's with the successes. What I found predominantly is service-based businesses do work really well, particularly if the cost per click is affordable and the service you're providing it is a mid-range sort of price range. And anything from £100 upwards, you can get some great results with Google search ads, just because there is that sort of margin for let's generate some clicks, let's get some people to our site and try and convert a number of those into paying clients. Also, recently, again, a product or service which is sort of a lead on to something else works quite well. So I've got a client in a minute who deals with radon gas, and they sell radon gas test kits. Their ultimate goal is not to sell loads of test kits. It's to get test kits so that people find out they've got that gas in their house, and then target them with the consultancy and the service down the line to fix the radon gas problem. And that's working really well at the minute, because they're one of the only providers that rank and advertise. So people find their adverts interesting straight off the bat, and they're appearing at the top of the results. Also, they are really competitively priced, if not the best priced product on the market in terms of quality. And then people are seeing those adverts, and the conversion rate is reasonably high. At a low cost per click, they're making profit on those detectors. But like I said, their end goal isn't to do that. So they're actually raising awareness from their business by selling products. And sort of those product leads, as we'll refer to them here, are actually doing quite well for them in terms of how the Google ads are working. In terms of specific industries, I think at the minute one of the things is who and what businesses want to be advertising. And I think with coronavirus, obviously, it's affected lots and lots of businesses, but none more so, you could argue, than or an organisation like the NHS, which is obviously now backlogged for years and years and years. And I think I saw something where it's 17 years or predicted backlog or something crazy like that. So those in the private medical space, so anybody from physios, counsellors, even dentists, for example, now that those dentist surgeries are backlogged for years. Just letting people know that you have availability in their local area and getting out there, people are more willing now to actually use private healthcare because they want to be seen quicker. It's not a case of where we used to take the NHS and say, right, a couple of months I'll wait. If you get quoted 6 months to a year and it's a problem that you want sorting out, then you are probably going to go private. So getting those businesses out there is really, really important for them to let people know, like I said, about their availability, but also can work really well because people are in the market for those services at the minute. As well as that, we've touched on manufacturing before, Adam, and a lot of manufacturers don't do this. And if you're a manufacturer that provides quite a niche service, it might be a sort of a niche area of engineering, for example, potentially having those keywords and being one of the only manufacturers to advertise that, sending them to a high quality website which tells them all about what you do, could be the difference between a supplier finding out about your business or using somebody they already knew before and just accepting the costs associated with their previous supplier. And it's the power of it can't go unnoticed, because how would they have found you before? Would they have searched those keywords and your website ranked high with SEO? More likely that we found with manufacturing websites, probably not. So what can you do to get that traffic in the market for your services to your website? You can create a Google search advert. And again, the order value potentially for manufacturers is huge compared to the cost per click rate. So if they've got a budget to do that, then why not try and advertise using it?
Yeah, absolutely. And we've discussed this before. There are both of us think there are some big opportunities within in manufacturing, construction, and some of these sectors that is in some ways untapped from the research that we've done, and need to be tested, which we're looking to do and are doing currently. Anything else to add? That we've been going long enough now, 25 minutes into this. As I say, by all means, I'll put the link up. Contact us bit.ly NWG, so for New Way Growth Diary, and book in a call with me and Luke, because we are open to discussing your thoughts, objectives, and helping you with anything digital marketing and social media management, because we have a team that do it, and we're bloody good at doing it, but I'm biased. So yeah, I don't think there's anything more to add, Luke, about yourself.
No, I think that's it. I think if anybody's got any questions, obviously use the link and book a call with us. But apart from that, yeah, we're here to answer any questions, and looking forward to hopefully working with some business in the future.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for watching and commenting, and see you soon.